All right, so the next question goes to Violet. Violet is over here. Right?
Yeah.
There you go. I'm following. I got it. Violet, so what's something that you learned in your first year being here at BCC?
Hi, I'm Violet. So my first year at BCC was a lot different than the typical first year. I started here when I was 15, left high school in the middle of 10th grade, and went straight to Berkeley City College. So my first year was very slow. I did not know what I was doing at all, and I was very scared to go and talk to people, which was a mistake. I didn't take any counseling appointments at all, and kind of just took electives and things that I thought I would like. I didn't know what I wanted to do at all. But in a way, I'm very grateful for those first year, and like that first year especially, because I took like 1 or 2 classes, and it was just things that I was interested in. And it really helped me figure out what I wanted to do, which brought me here today. That's my favorite experience, and I wish I did go to counseling to see like what I wanted to do more, and because I was so young, I could have figured out what I wanted to do a lot faster and could have been further ahead where I thought I was going to be, but I think it turned out okay.
Right on, thank you. So the next question goes to Victoria. Victoria, how are you? All right. So Victoria, can you share with the students what is something, a mistake that you maybe had, that you've done, or an error that you had happen about, that you've learned about, and then from there you've been able to grow from?
Hi everyone. I'm going to build up with what Violet was saying a little about counselors. I did not visit a counselor until my 3rd or 4th semester here. I did 3 years just for reference. I'm not from here. In my home country, we don't have counselors. Office hours are not a thing. I did not visit office hours the first year I was here either. And I learned that a lot of things are sort of embedded into the system that are expected of you and are expected for you to know. And you don't have to know them, and it's okay to ask about them. So I eventually had to ask, what are office hours, and why should I go, and when do I go, and what do I do, and how do I talk to you? I had to learn that I had to go to a counselor, and that it was actually very helpful. So asking questions, realizing that we come from different places, that we have different knowledge, that we have different ways of reacting, of interacting. I think that was very helpful for me to learn. And I suppose like the mistake that I made was for me to think that I was going to learn it all the first semester, or that I already knew it. And that was really critical. And another thing I think also is I did not speak to my classmates enough. It doesn't come for me easily to socialize, but the few friends that I've made have actually been really great friends, and I think it's very important to make an effort to connect with your peers because they are a support system for you.
We're going to stay on my right-hand side. Anna, thank you for being with us. Anna, can you share with us what was your hardest challenge in getting to transferring and completing your program here at BCC?
Hi, I'm Anna. I transferred last spring, so this is my 2nd semester at my new institution. Something that I was really terrible at was asking for help with my transfer process, because I was very scared of like the reactions I would get for either like my essays or what I could do, I guess, and just being very insecure about that. So I didn't ask for help, and my friend was just like, hey, you have your essays due in a week. And I was like, yeah, I wrote like 1 out of the 4. I'll get to it. So yeah, don't be stubborn like me. Definitely ask for help. I know the Transfer Center offers, I think like a couple weeks before, or like the month of November, assistance with your transfer application, and I really wish I took advantage of like such a great opportunity. And I know my friends did, and they really got a lot out of it. They really are here to be a resource for you and to really help you, which is something I actually do really miss about BCC. Is it is a very supportive community, and you don't really realize it when you're in community college because it's just like, oh, everyone's here, we're all doing the same thing. And but when you go to a whole new place with new people, new teachers, new environment, expectations, it's very different, and it is a little scary. So BCC has always been kind to me, even when classes were challenging, but in a good way. And so definitely like ask questions, ask for help, and it's okay to do that. It's actually great if you can do that. So highly recommend.
Thank you. So far on this side, we've heard Anna talking about being aware of all the things that are available to help you transfer, right? And asking questions. From Victoria, we heard that going and seeing a counselor regularly was really helpful, right? And Ovi was talking about, we're all on our own path, right? Like people like to try to use each other as a measure, but it's kind of like you are your own measure of success. We're Ovi. We're going to move over to this other side. Dominique, can you tell us a little bit about what were some of the resources that you took advantage of when you were here at BCC, or if you're still here at BCC?
Yeah, hello, my name is Dominique. One of the major resources that I took advantage of was being an EOPS student. It really helped me get through my time at BCC. It was a really supportive community. I definitely recommend that everyone in this crowd finds their community, not only in the institution, but also with your peers. I think it really helps drive you, you definitely don't want to use other people as measuring sticks, but, it definitely fuels you, when you're around people that are trying to accomplish the same goals as you, it definitely gives you a different kind of hunger. You can also learn how to work smarter and not harder. See one of my good friends, Min Hall, in the crowd, we used to make a lot of Google Doc, test prep sheets and stuff, and we would break it up together, and it kind of helped us get through the material. We wouldn't have to study it all at once, and then we could go and more so focus on reviewing when it came to doing tests instead of going through the book, sifting through it, trying to find all this information on your own. You're really not alone, So yeah, find your community, work with the Transfer Center. I worked with the Transfer Center when I was writing my applications. I just finished my first semester at Cal. I'm in my second semester. I was wrapping up my time here, I really realized how the communities that I was a part of helped me get to where I got to. Especially EOPS, they offer so much, and there's so many different communities here for so many different people from so many different backgrounds. So really just try to find your group, and I think all you guys are doing the right thing right now by coming out to this event. Do that, go and network. Be around the right people and do the right things. Everyone in this crowd, you guys are all doing the right thing right now.
So we're going to see if you're on my left. Hey, Jack, thank you for being with us. How did you effectively connect or stay connected with other students? Either here when you were here at BCC, and then maybe you can also share wherever you're at as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so coming into BCC, I didn't necessarily have any friends from high school that I came here with, so I kind of felt, for my first semester or two, I really felt kind of alienated. I'm kind of a shy person, so I'm not gonna necessarily go out there and gel with a bunch of people in class, right? So kind of going into my third semester here, what I kind of did was I sat down with myself, kind of figure out I need to kind of do something to help improve that, right? Because that was obviously something that wasn't working for me. So I tried to make a goal of every day I'm going to try to, in class, try to talk to at least one new person or another person in class just every day and just kind of build rapport with people. And by doing that, just kind of passively gets you kind of introduced to your classmates, you kind of feel more comfortable around people. And so in the classroom, I didn't necessarily feel that made a difference, right? Because half the time you're just sitting there listening to the teacher lecture. But it kind of, throughout the rest of your time here, right? Say you're just walking to another class, or you're in between classes, so you go up to the 5th floor lounge. You then all of a sudden start bumping into these people in your classes, and you're able to kind of sit down with them, start talking about the content, start talking about maybe other classes you have, other professors you have, and then all of a sudden, oh, that class you've been struggling in, this person took it, they kind of have some pointers on how that class goes. All of a sudden, you kind of have this little network around yourself that's kind of keeping you around. Biggest thing, if you can kind of make a connection with anyone in your class, just try to get something like their contact information, just some way to kind of stay in touch with them. That doesn't mean you have to be best friends with everyone and like text them nonstop, but it's always good just kind of in the back of your, like just kind of the back of your hand, just have something that if you need a resource or a student you can reach out to, you have it, right? In terms of outside of BCC, I'm doing the same thing at at East Bay, which is where I transferred to last semester. Same thing of like really just like staying connected with the people you're in class with, kind of just talking about your shared experiences, everything like that. Yeah, just you gotta keep, you really really throughout whatever facet of your education it is, you really have to be cognizant of why that specific thing's important and really make an effort to make sure that's happening and working there, right? You don't want to put something in the back of your head and just think, oh, passively say my time management skills, that's just going to get better, right? No, like every single skill that's involved with being successful in education, you need to be consciously working on it in some way. So personally, what I always did was every semester I'd sit down at the beginning and end of it and kind of figure out what's going right, what isn't going so well, and just create small little goals throughout the semester that kind of will push me to start getting better. And so just always keep everything in mind as you go through, and then you can always find other students who kind of share those goals with you, and then all of a sudden you're building a group around you who has, in some way, can complement each skill you're trying to go. So just kind of be cognizant of all the people around you. You know, sometimes in class you might think I can get by just by showing up, but I promise you that person sitting 3 chairs down from you staring at their phone like you also has a really interesting story to tell and also has something to bring to the table. And just, if you go ahead and talk to them, it's going to make both of you better by the end of it.
You're a current student here at BCC. Will you share with the group what's a tool or a strategy that you use to keep yourself motivated and organized?
Tool or strategy that I use to keep myself motivated and organized. I write stuff down a lot for anything. Also, drawing really keeps me, it grounds all my notes to something that's more fun to keep me interested in what I'm doing. I do that in class, and also I'll do that in work. Sometimes I work at the school too, in campus life. So just being here as much as I can to just sit with my thoughts about what I have to do and not like run away when I'm super busy, and I can just think about everything that I have helps me a lot too. So if you have a lot going on, I think that just sitting there and just thinking about what you have to do, maybe not even if you don't want to like draw it out or plan it out, that's fine too. Just keep like bringing it up in your mind. That happens to me a lot sometimes. It's not a great thing because it just plays in my mind over and over again, can stress me out a little bit more. But then that's when I go and like draw it out, think about it more, write notes, do a to-do list, check things off. Maybe like write some stuff down that you've already done so you can just check it off and feel good. That's pretty much all I do.
Where are you planning to transfer to?
I'm planning on transferring to SF State. So waiting to hear back is kind of stressful, but that's why I go to the Transfer and Career Center, ask all the questions that I can so they can be like, you're on the right track, you don't have to stress out. But I'll still stress out.
We heard from both, on this side we heard about using institutional resources like EOPS connecting with folks in it to not work harder but work smarter, right? Like how do we use each other to learn collaboratively? Violet, you talked about these different strategies of reflecting, right? Organizing yourself. Even just making a checkbox that says check this box is an accomplishment, right? And Jack, we heard about using your peers, right? Like leveraging them to have someone to connect with on campus, and being intentional about building relationships. So I'm gonna shift back to this side. I wanted to ask you, is there a faculty member that you connected with, and what was it about the support that they gave you that you feel helped keep you motivated?
The first person that comes to mind was an English professor I took here for a whole year. Her name was Grace Ebron, and she was just very supportive, and if anything was like, hey, these are my concerns about like whatever the topic is, she'd be like, no, like you're doing great, like your thinking's there, like the fact that you are critically thinking or giving that support and advice, like that's already something. So going from thinking that, oh, like maybe my answer isn't that great, to her encouraging me to just keep going in subtle ways was really helpful. My Ali Dagani being an awesome Chem professor. I don't know. There's so many like professors that come to mind, honestly, that were very helpful and wanted to help, which was really awesome as well. So I would say you never know. Just talk to your professors. They're human. They're people too, and they want to help you. They want to be a resource to you, and you never know what happens. And you can, like, I reached out to Dr. B recently, and she's awesome. If you haven't taken a class with her too, I didn't get to take a class. That was like the one thing I actually really wanted to while I was at BCC. But just getting to know her through Psych Club and in general, your professors, like, they'll be there for you and be a resource. I transferred to Berkeley last fall.
Oh,
Victoria, what's some advice that you would give to folks here to be like, here's something I've learned that will help you sustain and keep you going?
What I wrote here for that was actually hold on to what keeps you sane. I started working here. So I moved from South America to Berkeley 4 years ago, started community college. That same semester started working, already had a job. Next semester took a second job, commuting. Now I have like 5 classes, work full time, commute 15 hours a week. I'm very tired all the time, and it's been a constant go, 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 with no rest ever, even during the breaks. I always have something to do, and the only thing that's kept me going is that I've held on to what keeps me sane. And for me, that's alone time. For me, that's reading. If I would rather sacrifice an extra half hour of sleep to read what I want to read 30 minutes before I go to sleep. I would rather not see my friends and have Friday night to myself after I spend the entire week talking to other people, if that's what I feel like I need to do. So making sacrifices for yourself is very important, and it really is going to help you deal and cope with everything else. If you don't put yourself first, then everything else is just gonna collapse on top of you. So definitely, I guess, like mental health awareness, know yourself, know what you need and when you need it so that you can get it. Know what the signs are of when you're feeling burned out, when that, crisis is coming. If the more that you know yourself, the better and easier it'll be for you to know how to take care of yourself. And also, sleep. I also transferred to Berkeley last semester, but I'm an ISF major, that's interdisciplinary studies, so not psych.
Obi, so how do you make use of things like internships, joining a club, or organizations on campus?
This is a loaded question. So, internships, joining clubs, what's the last one?
Organizations.
Organizations, okay, great. So all of these fall under one bucket that we all know is called extracurricular activities. And I think there's a misconception with extracurricular activities because all we're told is get an A, and then transfer. But extracurricular activities is actually a great opportunity for you to learn more about yourself, because a lot of those activities that you do outside of class benefit your overall career path. So for me, in my experience, I actually got lucky with my internship. I had a faculty member actually see that I was thriving in his class, and he said, "Hey, have you done an internship?" And I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Well, I can make a call for you, and you can get an internship in this field." And so that faculty member paved the way for me to get experience, to actually learn about political science. Thank you, appreciate that. And extracurricular activities are extremely important. They strengthen your transfer application. Organizations outside of BCC do paid and unpaid volunteering. There's a timeline for when you're about to transfer that you have to pay attention to. Maybe you want to do your internship the summer before you apply, or if you're a first-year student, you have a lot of time, or at least enough time, to plan for an internship, volunteering, externship. A lot of these things, the resources are here on campus. If you go to the Transfer and Career Center, Miss Andrea Williams actually has a lot of resources for you. Your professors have resources for you. But you also want to kind of do a reflection to find out, like, what do I want to step into outside of schoolwork? A lot of people like nonprofits. A lot of people like tech. So like they want the Google summer job, but you don't always get the paid internships. So sometimes you have to volunteer at the food bank or the supply bank, or volunteer on your campus as a club leader. So there's a lot of clubs on campus. There's a club board right here on the first floor. And essentially for me, I just focus on like getting into an opportunity that appeals to my career path or my own taste. Paid or unpaid, I'm willing to sacrifice that. And you actually have a lot more fun outside of your coursework when you do externships or internships, because you learn more about yourself and you get experience in the field, and you'll kind of learn, like, is this something I actually want to get into? Like, if I'm a STEM major, do I actually, and I get an internship at a lab, and I do research for 3 hours a day. You're like, do I really want to do research? Maybe you love it, maybe you don't, but that gives you an opportunity to do that. And in order to do that, there is some planning. You need to be good at time management, and you got to be willing to, make your calendar, block out the time, like, hey, this is time where I need to go outside of class and participate. Whether that's a club, again, or a part-time job can even count, or a volunteering or an internship.
I just want to add a little bit to that, because when I was preparing to apply, I was very nervous over the fact that I had done no internships and no volunteering and no extracurriculars, because I had to work. And I had no time to put those things in my calendar because there just wasn't time. And I thought that I would not get in, and I thought that it would look bad, and I was very nervous and all of those things. And so I think that extracurriculars, yeah, they can be really great, but they are not the make all break all. I think that that's an important myth to debunk. You don't need to do like 5 internships or research during your time at BCC before you transfer or to get accepted. So I know like a lot of people in community college have to work. I worked my entire time here. I'm still working full time. And I think that it's just a matter of also recognizing what you're doing and the value in that, and making that work for you. And if you're not sure how to make it work for you, then that's where counselors, professors, other students will tell you or will help you realize that. But if you don't have the time to do all of these wonderful things that Obi was talking about, which if you do are very great, then don't be afraid to transfer or to even try to apply whatever you want, because you can.
We're gonna wrap this up really quick. So on this side, this is a real quick, rapid, question and answer. It's called last words. So what's a phrase or set of words you use to keep yourself motivated? All right. First thing off the top of your head, and just pass it down.
just keep going. You know, you can handle more than you think that you can.
I can have plenty of time, can always make more.
Discipline yourself so others won't have to.
Yeah. Thank you. So let's give a really warm hand to our panelists. As you know, several of them are transfer students, so they came out to give their time. The other folks that are here, we appreciate you as well. It's constantly giving back. Anna wants to say something?
I actually wanted to make a quick announcement. So there's something at Berkeley campus called Starting Point Mentorship. So it's basically you get paired with a mentor, and you talk to them like once a week.
Anna's in the back.
Oh, you guys are that's closer. Yeah. I also have a tiny link URL. If you are interested, you get matched up with someone, preferably by your major, and if you know somebody as well, you can ask to be them. They can be your mentor, and you'll be their mentee. And it's literally just like free advice of like what to do and what not to do. And that's all. You can learn the transfer process. So, and it's not just a Cal, it's all UCs as well. So if you're interested, come up to me or Andrea for the information. Thank you.
I was 5 minutes away from not applying to Berkeley, and if I wouldn't have if it hadn't been for my mentor from SPMD.
Thank you. So we're going to break for dinner now. If you can start at the left-hand side of the table and grab a plate. Folks are back there to help serve you. And then once we get settled back in, we'll start another raffle and then finish off the rest of the evening. Thank you.